Thanks for stopping by the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the real of reality TV.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice.
So I was watching the last episode or the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I was tripping out because I'm like, Porsha is so ridiculous. Why is this chick touring a new mansion, or maybe not brand new, but touring a mansion for sale, looking for something to buy in case she needs to have a plan B if her plan A for her, which is keeping that house in the divorce and having to have it sold and getting the proceeds from the whatever equity would be remaining, which, to be honest with you, I don't really feel like it would be that much, because even though the houses do appreciate in value, it's not like he's owned that house for like 10 years or something like that. So after paying the mortgage, because you still have to pay the home off, what would be remaining? So is it even worth it? And all of the money that she's having to spend for attorney's fees just to try to keep this home that's going to have to be sold anyway. So she can't film in the home that she's able to stay in right now per the courts, but she can film in somebody else's home, right? So she cooks up a scene to go and view a listing with her mom and her sister. And I was watching this and I'm like, why is this chick doing this? It's like really ridiculous. And the home, I believe, is listed for $4 million. She can't afford that. I don't know what her pockets are looking like, of course, but I really don't believe she can afford a $4 million home when she already has one. The audacity, the entitlement to feel that because you've leveled up on somebody else's dime that you deserve to live in a mansion. You have to drive a Rolls Royce. You know what? I know a lot of people say a lot of things about Keke Palmer, but I love the fact she's like, look, I've been a millionaire since I was 12 years old, but I'm not paying more than $1,500 for rent, and I don't need to drive something that is super uber expensive. It's like all of these people like Quad and Porsha have to be driving Rolls Royces. It's just really ridiculous. But to see her filming a scene in this home that I don't believe she can afford, I found it really hilarious. And okay, it reminded me of when she was looking for a home, whatever season it was after she had gotten divorced from Cordell, because when she got kicked out, she had to go and live with her mama. So it's like, all right, you needed a place. And even though I felt like even that place was too big for her at the time because she didn't have any children, it was just her. And I think her mom had her own place at that time still. So even at that time, that house that she was looking at was way bigger than what she needed. But I don't believe that home was even $1 million at that time for sale. So you're looking at a $4 million home. Girl, you can't afford that. I don't believe you're selling that much Go Naked hair and Pampered by Porsha sheets and lingerie. And everything with these people like her who get on these shows is about selling stuff to people. Y'all fund my lifestyle. Y'all buy my stuff so I can live the type of life that I want to live. And now I'm not knocking selling products, because I am someone who owns my own business and I sell products and services as well. But I mean, I've been doing that for years. I didn't just get on and say, oh, you know what? Because I got a bunch of followers, I'm going to get some products so I can sell to them. I started my skincare line in 2017, and I started it in my business to sell to the clients that we were serving. So I didn't just get a product line because I wanted to sell it to a bunch of people so y'all can fund my lifestyle. Y'all go buy my stuff. And that's what I feel about people like Porsha when they do stuff like that. Go buy my stuff. Now that I have this platform, I'm going to create, not even create, put my name on some products and y'all buy my stuff so y'all can fund my lifestyle. I just have a huge issue with that. That's my personal opinion, to each their own. But I also wanted to talk about Shamea because it's like, is she jealous of Drew? Because in my personal opinion, I feel like it's looking that way. And I like her. I feel like it's sad that she, I feel like, constantly making jabs at Drew. And whether, people feel like Drew is a liar, Drew is this, Drew is that. A lot of people have things to say about Drew. Okay, fine. But you can't take away the fact that the woman has a resume. She does. And she's doing music. You may not care for it or whatever, but like Shamea, even though you have a history, child, like nobody really knew about your history for the most part when it came to singing. And so to throw the little jabs in there, it's like I don't care for stuff like that. And so the scene where she went to the radio station and she was asked about Drew and her music, and they're saying, another Real Housewife came and dropped some music off, and then she's throwing shade towards it. It doesn't look good because this is not the first time we've seen her do that. She invited Drew and Angela to the studio, and she was sharing snippets of her music. And then she did the confessional, and she was like, "This is what you need, Drew. You need an RL." Well, it looks like she's doing pretty good with Dennis. I haven't seen any issues with what she's done so far. She got signed to a record label. Dennis, even though he's been allowing Porsha to be messy when it came to the insinuations and innuendos about Drew wanting Dennis and this and that and the other, which I don't believe she did. And actually, she talked about that when she did her interview on Carlos King's podcast. I haven't really talked about that, but I was going to talk about it. And yeah, she was like, "Ciao, bye. I like biceps, not bellies." And Dennis, although I love him like a brother, he's not my type. And I'm not here for them trying to connect me with Dennis in a sexual way, especially for favors for my music, because it's nothing but business over here, sweetheart. So Drew doing her music and doing her thing, and then Shamea making the little jabs. And then, yeah, Drew called her a lapdog, but a lot of people feel like that. So she took offense to it and, made the little comments that she did at Brit's event. But Drew wasn't lying. A lot of people see her as like Porsha's lapdog, meeting up with Ralph and Porsha, and then trying to say, well, Ralph and we've worked together before. We've done a podcast together before. Like, girl, please stop it. I still like Shamea. I don't dislike her, but I don't like this thing that I'm seeing with her and I feel like jealousy when it comes to Drew's music, because I do feel that even though Shamea may be living a life that some may envy, I've said this before and I will continue to say it. Just because someone has a life that people may see as enviable material wise, it does not mean that that person is not capable of jealousy of someone else that others may see as not having as much as them. I've experienced it in my life. I can remember many, many years ago before, I really got into really working my business and growing it over the years. And I had someone in my life that I thought was a friend, but she would make little comments and digs here and there, and I never really paid attention to it at first. And then, as I started seeing things over the years, I got rid of that person out of my life. It's like, no, you're not a friend. But I, didn't understand it back then. I was like, why is it she's acting like she's jealous of me? Because honestly, if you look at her life and you look at mine, you would think, not even think, you would see a lot more material wise than me and my husband have, but it is what it is. it was because she saw potential in me that she was jealous of. Sometimes people are, they're jealous of your gift. They're jealous that what you have isn't, they what they have isn't comparable, and that's where jealousy can creep in. But I'm not here to preach a sermon. I'm just saying it is what it is, and I don't like what I'm seeing. Of course, if someone were to ask me, and she's not going to say jealous of Drew. Most people are not going to admit that they're jealous of anyone, but I'm definitely seeing streaks of it, and I don't like that at all. And her throwing a little shade at the radio station at V103, I just was like, don't do that. That's just not a good look. See, throwing the digs. It wasn't worth it. It was not something that you needed to do, child. Like it makes you look jealous and petty. And people have definitely been buzzing about Drew's music. So it, you can say what you want when it comes to Drew, and saying, oh well, I've never heard her music on the station. Well, she came by there and she dropped it off, and a lot of people are buzzing about it. So with that being said, I want to know what you guys think. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you feel like Porsha is being ridiculous, touring these homes she knows she can't afford, while she's trying to hold on to that mansion that she also cannot afford, but she's trying to keep, and and just trying to get a plan B when she already has a house that her mom is living in right now that's big enough for her mom, and PJ? And what do you think about Shamea throwing shade to Drew and her music?
Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.